Hello, everybody. Well, first of all, I would like to give a big applause and a big thank you, big gratitude to all the guests that have attended today the conference, to all the policymakers. I know everyone has a busy schedule, and I have to give a big thanks to our newly elected Speaker of Seimas of the Republic of Lithuania, Mrs. Viktorija Čmilytė-Nilsson, for attending and finding the time to attend our conference, our European Parliament members, and all the other busy experts that agreed to share their knowledge here. Thank you very much. And of course, as being one of the co-organizers of the conference, I would like to give a big thank you also to the other co-organizer, European Parliament office in Lithuania, for helping to have such a great conference here, to have the opportunity to share together the knowledge and different thoughts of the issue. Also, a huge thank you to the partner, the Agency of Science, Innovation and Technology of the Republic of Lithuania, and our, of course, sponsor, R21. So today I have a privilege to sum up of what has been said during the conference. And I should say it's a very hard job, because I was listening since the first words, and it has been said so much, such a lot, it would be impossible to summarize everything in 2 sentences, but I try to do my best. So the main words, what I'm bringing today out of this discussion, that's collaboration, cooperation, and uniting together in achieving the goals, the twin transition goals. As it was said by Mr. Juozas Olekas, the changes are inevitable. We are not going to be hiding from them. The COVID-19 crisis has helped us, I should say, because we're seeing the crisis as an opportunity, helped us to fast forward to the digitalized decade or digitalized world. It was coming, but now we are running into that. And I would quote also other member of the European Parliament, Mr. Kokalis. Unprecedented times require unprecedented actions. So that is probably, in many cases, we can hear that in agri-food sector, that it's very hard. What is happening? We are facing many challenges, but if we unite together, we can overcome everything. Just on the way to this digital world, or on the way to this digital transition, we must remember everyone in the food supply chain. We must not forget even the smallest ones, talking from the small, medium-sized farmers, talking about the SMEs, talking about enterprises, and moving towards the whole food supply chain, not forgetting not a single stakeholder in the food supply chain. As it was said before, CAP as the policy is very complex, and itself it holds a lot of different goals and targets. So this Green Deal and green transition goals and digitalization goals, they come as the new things with the CAP targets. But as we are seeing right now, this should not be seen as a burden or as a new as a burden which brings more cost, or which gonna be harder to apply in everyday life. We should see it as an opportunity, and all the stakeholders in the food supply chain should unite together to use this as an opportunity. European Commission is trying also and giving the opportunity, the programs which are going to be helping us to transform the agri food sector. As it was said, agri-food sector, it's a very conservative sector. And for now, it still stays the least digitalized industrial sector comparing to others. But it's coming, it's inevitable, and we're gonna have to transform. So for that, different plans, different EU funding schemes are coming into the help. As it was said by one of the European Parliament members, European member states are giving the privilege, or they are able to decide how they're going to be implementing the policy. How can they be creating the strategy? And it's also inevitable, and it's a must. Each member state is going to be creating the digitalized strategy, or Green Deal and digitalized strategy, transforming strategy for the twin transition. So it is very important, as it was said by Ms. Blaga Valentinova Popova, that we are moving towards European single market, which is going to be sustainable and digital. And while we're doing that, it's very clear that agri-food sector is going to be facing also the challenges. At the same time, moving to the single market, still we're going to have to stay economic, to keep the economic sustainability, social sustainability, environmental sustainability. So that means creating a truly sustainable food system, a truly sustainable food ecosystem. So what are the main stakeholders, or what are the main players on the food supply chain that we are talking about? So first of all, we're talking about the primary production, right? About the farmers. And as I said, we must not forget the small ones, the medium-sized farmers. I think those farmers even can benefit the most out of the digitalization. They can even, the digitalization for those farmers can become a really everyday work tool. We are talking about the manufacturing, also one of the main stakeholders, not forgetting the logistics in food supply chain, and not forgetting the packaging going to the HoReCa and consumers. Consumers' behaviors also are affecting the food supply chain very much because of their changing behavior, because of also the crisis that brought different behavior in the consumers. So digitalization could help to bring more value to the food supply chain. So who can play the critical role, or who plays the critical role in digitalization? First of all, as it was mentioned by Mrs. Maria Lisa, we must turn to the policymakers, or to policy and regulations. Then we have to go to the change drivers. Change drivers such as, for example, clusters, SMEs, startups, organizations working with education in the digitalization and the green deals, and bioeconomy, of course. We must not forget that the triangle of the cooperation, that's business, research, and education, that's another very important matter. And this triangle is very crucial in the path towards the digitalization and reaching the green goals. One of the, as it was mentioned before, one of the main tools as European Commission is proposing to achieve the digitalization goals in the Digital Europe program, that's digital innovation hubs. We're going to be talking a lot more about them tomorrow, but just for the short preview, that's one of the tools that European Commission is providing for all the sectors, not only the agri-food sectors, to help the stakeholders in their journey towards the digitalization. So what we're gonna be digitalizing? We've heard today a lot about different technologies like drones, spectroscopy, Raman, collecting data, sensors. We've heard even about the robotics, which is already moving not only in the whole European Union, moving very fast with the robotics, but also in Lithuania, we are seeing the first signs of that. And also with the COVID crisis, we're seeing that robotics, when it used to be just a science fiction, right now is becoming another new normal thing, as we are saying, a normal tool for working. So when we talk about all those technologies, about creating new things, about digitalizing, why we should ask probably the first question, why we're doing this. So why we're doing this, that should be the answer, that we are trying to achieve the goals towards climate neutrality, which we have to become climate neutral by the 2050. We are also fighting the food waste. We are also giving the right for the people for their food quality, helping with the food quality, also helping with the food traceability. And in that case, digitalized technologies, digitalization brings a huge value for the whole food value chain or food supply chain. What is the value? As Mr. George Beer said, long ago, it was a problem with the data. It was hard to collect, it was less data. But then later on, in recent years, we've been collecting tons of data. Now, out of the sudden, if we are not using this data, if it just sits there, it's a waste. So data now is becoming the new thing, one of the digitalization pillars, big data. With this data, artificial intelligence jumps in, and artificial intelligence helps or will help us in not only in everyday operations, but also in predicting things, in helping us to react very quickly to the market demands, in predicting crisis, in predicting your everyday operation on your business. And of course, the last but not the least, the technology. What's the value of the digitalization? It brings you closer to the customer. So you can feel your customer, how they work, how they react to everything. So whole food supply chain, by the help of the digitalization, can become more valuable and could be connected not only by the data, but sharing by the data, sharing the knowledge between different stakeholders, and having the feeling that working together and working united. And of course, we must not forget, as Mr. Vidmantas Janulevičius said, agri-food sector, it's an industrial also sector, and it's very important sector. So digitalization also will bring us the opportunity to work with as a cross-sectoral sectors and share the knowledge between sectors and bring the knowledge towards agri-food sector from other sectors in order to have even bigger value in the food supply chain. So in this case, technology becomes the moving force towards the innovation, what we are all achieving for every years, even more innovation, even more sustainability, even more transformation of the food sector. And to sum up, as our newly elected Speaker of Seimas of the Republic of Lithuania, Mrs. Viktorija Čmilytė-Nilsson said, this is the opportunity for Lithuania to stand out as one of the leaders in help for the whole European Union agri-sector to recover after the COVID crisis, and to show that we are willing to implement digital technologies, We are willing to reach the set up green goals, and we are willing to work both. What's the most important? We are willing to work together, united as one. So thank you for the listening, and enjoy the rest of the conference. And tomorrow we will meet again. Thank you so much.